let's go. You got it? Okay, y'all, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Need another seat. Good. My man. All right, come on, sit on down some little more. Welcome, y'all, to the Uncle Wu Show. Today, we are live in effect.
Which one?
Don't matter. That side, that side. Uh-oh. As long as you got the camera in focus. Welcome again, y'all. Y'all know how it goes sometimes on Uncle Wu Show. It's dysfunctional, and then it gets functional. Nephew Jet over there pouring coffee. And everybody's doing their own thing. Anyway, I want to welcome y'all to the show tonight. Uh-oh. Well, we didn't. It'll post itself. As you can see, we're supposed to have a full house, but we got a couple missing in action, but that's okay. The show must go on. You hear me? The show must go on. And what we wanted to do is actually bring y'all some faces, and old faces and new faces. Yes, he did. Okay. Old faces and new faces in the place to be. We also want to let you know about who we got coming up. Who we got coming up in the future shows, future topics. And here in the Ville, we just want to make sure that we can get y'all some different flavor and different actions, so that you can join in, call in. They got their own topics, their own shows, their own identity. We just use this the Wu Show just for a vehicle for all these things to come. Now we got a couple of youth here with us. Yeah. They're also the producers of the majority of the shows. They back in the background, but we got to bring some youth voices up here. As we also got, as you can see, Michael from Mic Check is in the building, and they debate to get it straight. And if you late, oh well, don't hate. Okay. Also, we got to my left here, Steubenville's own Jill, Steubenville Jill. She got some very interesting topics as well that she'll be discussing. We haven't figured out the name of the show yet, but she'll be up, and she'll tell you what it is when it comes that time. Also, Miss New York coming up with us. Did she even give a topic?
Miss who?
Did she give Miss New York?
It seemed like I hear tell somebody named New York supposed to be here. I just don't see nobody.
Yeah, well, at least she was lady enough to.
Maybe your name is Miss in New York. Or
missing
in New York.
Uh-oh, it goes down here. I wish I could find the text, but anyway, not the text, but she was sisterly, ladylike enough to at least text and let me know that she couldn't make it, but she will be here for opening day on the 22nd. The 22nd, Miss New York. I didn't remember her top. She didn't have no name for the show or nothing, did it?
No, not yet. She's gonna work on that.
No,
she said she'd work on that for sure.
I could have swore she had a topic. She gave it to us. But anyway, we'll let her bring it up later on herself. She might even call in, so stay tuned. I'm not sure. Also, there was one more that escapes me.
Shay.
Ha! Thank you, brother. Shay, yay! That's what I call her. That's Shay. Shay. Y'all know Shay. Shalik. Little Shalik. But anyway, Shay. Got her little talk show coming up, too. The rest of them, I don't know. I'm not naming no more names because I don't know. MIA is the name of them shows. So, because they missing in action, so I'm not going to give any more other up-and-comings. And we're going to see what happened to these other two, especially when the 22nd come and the days that come. The Thursday is going to be alternate days for a while. So just stay tuned. Okay, well, let's go around the table here and we can see a way of introduction. And then they can tell you something that they would like to talk about, what they want to talk about, what's going down, what's going on. Sony, camera, what's happening in their life or around the block life, something of that nature. But they're gonna be giving y'all some information. I'm gonna start with the Mic Check crew, if they can come on here and hit us up with what's going on with them and what they got planned for us here. Anyway, let me say this here before they say something, because they was already here. Their show has already started, but they just here to give some extra oomph for those who is listening and checking them out. So, Mic Check, what y'all got for the peoples coming up?
I wouldn't necessarily call us a crew, you know, because it seems like we're more individual panelists on an uncommon accord. Because as I can see in my absence, there was a lot. You know what I mean? There was a lot of fly talking going on. And people was looking for me, and people had a lot of opinions about me that just seemed like they only appear when I'm not around. You know what I mean? Like everybody got so much to say when they know you ain't around to say something back. You know what I mean? Everybody can discuss your opinions and your feelings when you ain't there to verify or reinforce what you got to say. So sometimes you know what I mean, I don't know what that is. Even Uncle Wu was, you know what I mean, he was trying to stay diplomatic about it, but you know what I mean, he was still, you know what I mean, he had a hose in one hand and gasoline in the other. I just say that. You know what I mean? So when I was walking back and forth across the camera view when Uncle Wu was talking, that wasn't no accident. You know what I mean? That was my impression. You know, when your dog gets mad and he pees on the floor, that was me peeing on Uncle Wu's floor.
Well, let me say this. The other half of the mic check is here, and that's my boy. He's on the crew. But sometimes, you know what I mean?
You said it ain't a crew, though. You got to correct me. You said it's not a crew. Okay.
Well, it's a crew. We don't always agree. Okay. But we debate, and we get it straight. That's the mic check. We're going to be here on Wednesday nights, and we're going to debate. We're going to get it straight. I'm going to hear his views. He's going to hear mine. But what happened here, let's get it straight, because that's what we do, correct? What happened is, first thing I want to do is, what I do want to say is I just want to give a moment to acknowledge the great Stuart Scott, especially since we in this type of media situation here, and all the things I've seen on ESPN. Those of you who don't know, Stuart Scott was the ESPN commentator, analyst, journalist who basically livened up and put the electricity into the ESPN. It's a conglomerate now, ESPN 1, 2, 3, News. But anyway, he kind of, as they said, he put the swag in ESPN. And for the black journalists trying to make it, he basically was a segue for all them guys to be noticed. John Saunders and some of them others had been in the game for a while, but when Stuart Scott got that anchor position late night, and he was saying those things like cool as the other side of the pillow, and what happened is we knew what he was talking about, and we tuned in. And so I just wanted to say that, just to say he's honored, and it was a shame to see him pass, but he made a segue for a lot of people. Stephen A. Smith for one, as he talked about him. But in saying that, what I had to say is that we, on the mic check, we do some things. Michael Jett has his who's hot and who's not, and I'm going to have my top 5, excuse me. And so we had our first top 5, and we had a situation where we needed to know who the top 5 actors were. And so I got a list that had people on it like Al Pacino, Denzel Washington, Forrest Whitaker. Michael Jett had some real good ones. He had some guys like Tom Hanks. He agreed with Denzel, of course. And we had to get Samuel L. Jackson in there because I like Samuel L. Jackson. Brother Jett tells me no, he's not voting for Samuel L. And I said, oh, okay. No problem, Pop. No problem, boss. No problem. And so we got off camera. And Brother Wu said, man, you sure did back off of Samuel L. I don't know. He said, I was ready to say something, but I didn't.
Yes. Yes. And hope.
So the more I start thinking, I mean, Samuel L. is one of the greatest actors of all time. And I just backed off. So what I did was I had a little self-check with mic check. And I started to say, you know what, I ain't gonna let Brother Jett just run me over. You know what I mean? I gotta stick up for those, for myself. And so I had to just let him know. So I thought, he'd be here and we could converse about it, but he didn't show up. He didn't call. So I was just thinking maybe he knew that I was looking for him.
Oh.
And decided not to come. So I just wanted to know if anybody knew where he was. No harm intended, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to know if anybody seen you, that I was looking for you. No harm intended, just to let you know. Samuel Jackson's number 5. You guys tune in on Wednesday. Next.
Well, I don't know how many of y'all looking for me because none of y'all have called me either. None of y'all have stopped by my house either. None of y'all have Facebooked me either. So I don't know. I don't know what you constitute looking for somebody. Like I don't know how you could just proclaim you looking for somebody once you get on camera. You ain't called them. You ain't stopped by. Now you done called me over the course of the last year about 847 times.
Man.
All the way up until you was looking for me, you had my number. Then all of a sudden, when you start looking for me, your mind is absent my number. So I don't know how much you was looking for me or how much you was using my absence as an opportunity to get your opinion across, because I wasn't, and I still ain't backing down on Samuel L. Jackson. If that's your top 5, that's your top 5. I don't really like Samuel L. Jackson that much. Yeah, man, I think he's a good actor. Top 5? Maybe in his generation he's top 5. I don't know. I ain't real impressed by somebody, because I done seen Samuel L. Jackson be the same dude in 5 different age groups and 4 or 5 different characters, and they all talk alike. So I don't know how much acting that is, or if it's just you got a great personality and people drawn to it. I'm not sure. But all that yelling and all that Samuel L. Jackson be doing, I don't care nothing about that. And all that hating he doing on the hip hop people that's crossing over.
Oh, that's what it is.
Because they made me. Oh yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out who the good actor is, but we got to stick up for hip hop.
Okay.
Like we got to stick up for hip hop.
What we got to stick up for? What
Kitty act.
What this mic is?
Kitty act.
Is adamantly against.
What I need to know is Kitty act.
My number 1 enemy in the world is a player hater. You understand that? A player hater. So if I got 6 people to choose from, and one of them is a player hater, and I got 5 to choose, guess who getting left off the list first? The player hater. Because all player haters must die.
Samuel, give me a call. We're going to put you on the Mike Show next week, or anytime you want to. Give me a call. Set this brother straight.
Samuel Jackson, you do good calling Mr. McIntyre or calling into the show. Everybody would be honored. Our guests will probably appreciate it. But if you come to the Hampton Inn in Steubenville, I'm whooping your ass. You understand that?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is Samuel L. Jackson the one that asks people what's in their wallet?
You got that right.
Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction too.
Pulp Fiction. Let's not start naming it. We'll be here all night.
Yeah.
I was trying to put I don't watch a lot of movies.
Like did you watch Shaft?
Shaft.
Well, I ain't talking about Richard Roundtree. Okay. And he talking about whooping Shaft?
I didn't see it.
He's a bad
mother. Wallet thing.
Now, I don't know about all that shit, but I will whoop Samuel L. Jackson's ass.
Okay. He might be outside that door.
As long as he outside that door, he's safe. But if he come inside that door, I'm whooping his ass.
Well, that's the mic check. Tune us in.
Oh boy, that was real good. But I don't know what about the gasoline I had and all this. I just had a comment. Mine wasn't meant to be gasoline. He took it to gasoline. And no, you didn't take it to gasoline. He made it to gasoline.
There you go. There you go.
I ain't make it to gasoline. You're answering questions nobody ain't asked you.
You don't have to.
Oh, exactly.
Right. That doesn't mean it's gasoline, though.
Light a fire.
No.
Bringing gasoline.
Just because you asked the question, I want to know why.
Nobody asked the question.
You don't. I did.
What's the question? What was the question?
My question was, why did you let him slide with knocking off Samuel Jackson off the top 5?
What do you mean by slide?
Slide. He let him say, okay, yeah, we'll put him off. That's what I meant.
Because the way it was working, he had certain people.
Right.
I had certain
and you said get him off of them.
And we mutually agreed on people that we could both live with. Samuel L. Jackson wasn't a person I could live with, so I didn't agree.
Right. And he took it.
There ain't no taking or not.
He took it off the list. Did he take it off the list? Yes or no?
I had people on my list that he didn't agree to, so they didn't go on the list.
Get the Sony. Oh my gosh, y'all guys.
I had people. Can they still hear me?
Yeah, keep talking.
I had people on my list that he didn't agree to, so they didn't go on the list.
They was garbage. Some of them was garbage though, but you know Samuel Jackson wasn't garbage though.
There wasn't nobody on my list garbage.
I think some of them was.
Well, who was he?
I don't know.
How do you think and not know at the same time? That don't even make no sense.
You can think and not know at the same time.
So who are you thinking?
Tom Hanks. I threw him off.
You don't think Tom Hanks is one of the... This is what I'm saying.
See ya.
Tom Hanks.
See ya. He like, now I don't. To me, right? He wasn't no top dog like you knocked off Samuel
Samuel L.
Jackson.
Jackson is.
God damn
But
right.
Tom Hanks ain't.
He wasn't Samuel Jackson.
You're right.
I know it. Thank you.
You're right.
See, now just like you said, I'll let you talk.
Just saying MC and Frank Sinatra ain't no MC Hammer. What the hell?
How the heck did that go with that one? No.
Tom Hanks is one of the greatest actors of all time.
He's good.
Isn't it? Yeah.
He's good.
He's real good.
No, not okay. You ain't giving that. I ain't giving him great.
Samuel L. Jackson ain't even good as Denzel
I
Washington.
can't believe you said
Samuel L.
that. Oh,
Jackson.
we know that part, but you still can't knock Samuel
He's
Jackson.
better than everybody else.
Huh?
He's better than everybody else.
That you have on the list.
I don't know if he's better than everybody else.
When you
Him
look
and
at
I gotta check.
Him and Al Pacino are right there.
I think Jim Carrey's one of the greatest rappers. I mean,
Rappers.
actors.
You think who? Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
I do too.
Uh-oh.
That's that. Well, no.
And Adam Sandler too.
Yeah.
And Adam Sandler.
Oh, Adam Sandler's pretty
Uncle Will.
good. He's pretty good.
Uncle
Go
Will.
ahead. Yes.
This conversation is getting a little bit crazy.
That's all right. It's allowed.
Who's next?
It's allowed. They're interjecting. You can't knock they
I ain't
theory.
knocking. What I'm trying to do.
The person that you compare Jim Carrey to, though, in all honesty, is
Yes.
like
Is Eddie Murphy
he's like Kevin Hart.
or
You
Eddie
know what I
Murphy?
mean? He's just, if he ain't being silly, what is he?
That's all yet.
Okay, so that's
He's one-dimensional.
you
He's
want
great
to
at what he does.
You all comedy.
He's one of the best comedy actors.
Yeah.
All right, brother. I can appreciate
Well,
that.
Jamie Foxx came from In Living Color doing all comedy, but Jamie Foxx was also Ray Charles. You know what I mean? So he
can play serious and funny.
and all kind. He was also Django.
So why
So,
come
you know
Jamie
what I
Foxx
mean?
never made your list?
Jamie Foxx was close to him.
Made your list.
Well, first of all, there's probably 30 actors that are the greatest. There's probably a top 30. We just wanted to take 5.
Okay.
Because you're off don't mean you're not great.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Just wanted 5.
Like, somebody's got to be off. We wanted 5, so we wanted to try to get to the top 5. And there was only 2 or 3.
Still not
That's
y'all
close to that
Samuel-
top 5.
Samuel Jackson. That's
Samuel Jackson's number 5.
Oh, okay.
I already took care of that on the mic check.
That was by yourself though. He never got it. He never got
Take that off. We gotta get that. That's a Wednesday night that we'll discuss
He
that.
can put everybody else. He can put whoever he wants on this. He can put Jordan and Alyssa on there if he want to. Don't make me no difference. I don't gotta agree to it. It ain't going on mine.
Okay. You stood your ground. He didn't. That's all I've said. You call it. You call it gasoline. You call it what you want. I call it observation. That's all it was. Call it what you want. You were like you're tired of
I
that.
just did.
I know it, and it was inaccurate, but you accept it.
That's a matter of opinion.
You know, mine's.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. You got it.
Versus mine.
Right.
On the mic check, we keep it real and we debate to get it straight. And what I am going to say is, Mike Jet did get it straight. He's correct. The rules were, it had to be a consensus for him to be on there. And so the answer to Uncle Woo should have been, I didn't back off.
This
I
big
still think he's
flip-flop
winning.
artist today. Look at him.
No. We get it straight. Now, you guys
Let's get it straight. The answer to Uncle Woo should have been, we had a system. We went through with the system. We ain't even none of your business.
Yeah.
Well,
it could have been that. It could have been that now. Yeah. But my answer could have been, it is my opinion, young punk. You know, that's what I would have came back with. It's my opinion. I'm allowed that. It's a free world. You can't lock mine out. I can say what I want.
But we gotta get it
Whatever
straight.
you want.
That's my point.
But it don't warrant a response from
It
us.
got one.
What I'm saying
It's
is
getting look,
that was the
it's
mistake.
generating good ones.
That was the mistake.
And it's still getting one. So you're still a mistake because you're still good.
I'm talking to my coach.
You're talking to me.
Him from now on. Once we have a consensus and somebody try to dip all up in our business while somebody ain't around, you know what I mean? You gotta get them. You gotta set them straight.
My bad.
Even if it's the legendary Uncle Woo or whatever.
I'm loud.
But I was
I'm loud to get
intimidation factor. There's an intimidation factor of Uncle Woo.
I intimidated
He
you.
has the producer credit on
The
you.
producer credit. No. Listen. No, you can do that on purpose. I'm saying, that's what I did. I'm saying that's how I received it as, what is my answer here? He might be right, which I understood where you're coming from.
Both of y'all
What I
crazy.
should have told you, was,
I said it. Both of y'all.
what I
crazy.
should have told you is that you're right. I backed down. I should have tried to persuade him. But the bottom line was he can't be on the list because we said we were going to make a consensus list. And consensus means he had to agree.
So we had 3 in common.
4, didn't we? Yeah, 3.
We had 3 in common, and we both took one from his list, one from mine. So I gave him one, he gave me one.
Yeah.
That was the end of it.
And I
believe
I took
because
Forrest
you could be with it.
I believe I
for
took.
some reason you wanted Samuel L. Jackson in there, so you want to change the process.
Yeah, I think I took.
All you gotta
He
do,
changed it.
all you gotta
He
do,
did it.
all you gotta do is make your own list, pump.
Don't get mad at me because he jumped in. He took the bait.
Samuel L. Jackson 1 through 5.
I did already. Yeah.
I think I took Forrest Whitaker, and he accepted Forrest Whitaker, and I accepted Tom Hanks. We both agreed on Al Pacino, and we agreed on Denzel, I believe. And so it came down to something we had to.
Don't get flip floppers, though. I'm saying.
No, sir, not at all.
What's the top 5 then?
The top 5 is Denzel,
Okay.
Al Pacino,
Okay.
Tom Hanks, Forrest Whitaker,
Okay.
and I think we said the 5th was going to
Probably
be.
said Jay-Z or something.
No. The 5th was going to let the people call in.
Okay.
We started saying that the 5th person. I think it should be.
This joker over here, talking about Jay-Z.
I said you probably said it. I don't know what you said.
Somebody probably said that.
Okay, now what you got? What you think about that? Top 5.
Yeah, who would you say your top 5 is?
I agree with Denzel for sure.
Okay.
I do love Jim Carrey, but I love him for another reason. I love him because he's conscious, and he's very inspiring to a lot of people. He uses the law of attraction and the power of manifesting your words, which I'm really into that. So he's very into that, and so am I. So I say that maybe for a different reason other than acting.
Right.
But I respect him. So acting-wise, maybe, no, not so much. But I do respect him, so I agree with you on that, on respecting him as far as that goes.
So we got Denzel.
I love Adam Sandler. He always makes me laugh, and I've never seen a movie of his that I did
You
not
have
laugh
Adam
at.
Sandler better than Al Pacino?
Yes.
So you didn't see The Godfather?
No.
You didn't see...
Godfather.
I saw Scarface in a really bad time of my life that I probably did not appreciate it.
Okay, and so you've seen Scarface, you've
Yeah.
seen Godfather, you've seen Serpico.
See, I don't
I
watch
think she
a
already
whole
said
lot of-
yeah. She thinks Sandler's better.
She thinks who?
Adam
Adam
Sandler.
Adam
Sandler's
Sandler's
Why do you
better.
have to think about what somebody who's here
Yeah.
said?
Because I want to. I got that liberty.
In my opinion,
I got that liberty, and I exercise it right in front of Adam Sandler.
but I guess it depends on what genre of movies you like, though.
Greatest
really?
actor. That's possibly true.
Yeah,
but you're
because-
looking at their craft.
Right.
We're looking at their talent. We're looking at the range that they've done. You could look at their box office.
Okay,
appearance.
Nicolas Cage, I think is a wonderful
Nicolas Cage.
actor.
I
He'd
think
be one of
Nicolas
mine.
Cage.
He'd
I
be
think
one of
nice
mine.
one.
So
Nice.
we've got for Miss Jill, we got Denzel, we've got Adam Sandler, and we've got Nicolas
Cage.
Cage. 2 more.
Okay. You could tell I don't watch a whole lot of movies.
Yes, you do. You just don't remember.
Yeah. Let me think about it for a second.
Okay.
Because I want to get a female.
You're
in
allowed to
there.
think.
No,
Let me
we did.
let me think about it.
You're allowed to think.
Okay, this has to be all male. Okay.
We did. That's
Oh,
my
okay.
top 5.
You're allowed to think.
Okay, let me think for a minute before I
Despite
answer that.
Michael Jets thinking that you can't think, you're allowed to
I
think.
don't think.
Nothing to do.
I know. I'm just saying when I think, you got something to say about me
I'm
thinking.
gonna just say this.
You got more to say after
Mr.
that.
Abdullah, you tell lies, Dawood. I ain't say nothing about what I said is.
What did I lie?
Why are you thinking about what she said?
I said I'm allowed to think. That's why.
to say what she said.
I said I'm allowed to think.
But what I'm saying is, she
I know what you're saying. I heard you.
Say what she said.
So?
There's no reason for us to think about
I'm
it.
out.
She can say it. You're allowed to do whatever you want.
There you go, booyah. See, I'm not like him. So you can't pull me to what you want me to do. I'm gonna think and say what I want to say.
anywhere.
You try to.
No, I don't.
That power persuasion ain't
No, I
working.
don't.
Yes.
No, I don't.
You punked my man over here with that Samuel Jackson. That's
That's the topic you want to argue with.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, not you. That was what I'm
If
saying.
somebody's in the room, they can state whatever it is.
And she did. So I said I think because he asked the question.
That's all we need.
No, that's not all we need.
That's all we need.
That's all you need.
That's all we
I
need.
can speak for everybody.
That's all we need.
You nothing. Where you get all that at?
I ain't getting I don't know where they got that.
You did.
You tell lies. You tell lies.
I want to know where I lied at. You said I lied on something, but I'm just saying this, dude. Where you get the weed at? Where you get the weed?
Passion of me.
Okay, where you get the weed at? That was my question. Where'd you get the weed from?
Where you get that from?
You said weed. You don't remember saying that? It's recorded. Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna tell
It
you.
ain't live. Get the camera. You said it. You ain't gonna tell it?
No.
Oh, the camera will. So we'll move
I said
on.
I ain't gonna tell lies.
Miss Jill,
That wasn't no lie.
when we see you on the Uncle Wu show, what are we gonna be hearing?
I would like to talk about like the power of our words, what we say, how we manifest things. Whatever we say, we're actually manifesting it to how we're saying it. So if we're manifesting bad stuff, we're gonna get bad stuff back. It's kind of like a karmatic
Laws of attraction.
Yeah, laws of attraction, karma. You know, all that stuff is so related to each other. Which I've just been studying this for about a year now, and there's so much wisdom to be learned with this, and then truth once you really seek it. So it's all about the knowledge of that. So like to try to inspire people and really get people to think outside the box. Everybody, I feel like, thinks so much inside the box because of media sensationalism, and there's so much that we're drawn negative to, and it's sad. And once you kind of make your mind up that you're not going to be part of that group, and you think a little bit differently, your whole life can change. So that's kind of what I'm working on personally. So I would like people to join that journey with me, because I'm still journeying. So if they could join with me, that would be awesome, because that's kind of what I'm into right now.
Awesome.
Let me ask you, what's the outcome?
The outcome is to reach your desires, to manifest the desires that are your deep desires that you want in your life, and to make your dreams come true. So whatever dreams they are, inner peace and success, both.
Okay, so
Both.
success.
And inner
You're
peace.
striving on positivity.
All positivity, inner peace, success, and everything good. Manifesting
the
good
goal
things.
is success.
Success meaning your inner success. Success doesn't have to mean a dollar sign. Success could mean your destiny of your soul, of yourself.
Right.
And that's it, but it can mean a dollar sign. It just depends on what you want it to be. That's your own personal thing.
Is that your goal, or is that the result of?
Well, it depends on how hard
Success.
you work for it. But I think that if you try to find your heart's desires and you do the steps that you need to do it, you will find it. You will seek it. You'll seek what you'll find what you're seeking if you do what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
But it's all kind of about like you're gonna get what you put out, pretty much.
So if we watch
right.
your show and we call in and you're going to have guests and we follow what you're going to be trying to explain to us, if we do it correctly, the end of that will be a success. It will be either an inner success or...
Yeah, hopefully you will have a conscious moment where you're able to manifest your destiny.
You said hopefully. Good words. Yeah. Good
I
words.
mean, nothing's guaranteed.
No,
Good word.
but all you can do is try.
that's correct.
Right.
So.
Take on Michael. What y'all want to? What y'all like to see coming up on these couple up and coming shows that y'all that y'all be having up in here?
Well, basically, I'm just going to be talking about anything that pops up. And today, seeing as how it's a week into the New Year's, let's talk about some New Year's resolutions. It seems like one thing at the top of everyone's list is to quit smoking. And I think another strong second one is for everyone to start losing weight, which is like what everyone's talking about doing and stuff, because, I don't know, people are worried about health issues nowadays because genes and how many people are dying from lung cancer and obesity. But the thing with that is, like, fresh into the new year, whenever people are trying to start their goal, they like chicken out like halfway through. Like a month in, they'll like stop, they'll like cheat, smoke a cig, or stop their diet, stop working out, stop going to the gym. And I just feel like people just waste their time even talking about doing it.
And my thing is, people say it's a new year, new me, but stuff that you did in the past that was bad, it's not going to change. People are still going to know what you did in the past. So I would like to know how is it you be a new you in the new year?
Well, I mean, people can change, but I do see what you're saying about that. People don't forget about things you did. Like if you were a thief or a murderer, and then you come forward in the new year and saying, I'm a new person, I didn't forget that you're a murderer, and, you know, a thief.
People are still going to look at you like a murderer. Like they're still going to call you a murderer. They're not going to trust you and stuff like that.
I don't know. You got to give people a chance, though.
But it doesn't matter what people think because you have to live in your now. You have to live in your reality. So, who cares what people think?
Yeah.
Because it matters what you think.
So then,
Good point.
so you said so.
Oh, let me get a question real quick. Hold that thought. You bring up smoking cigarettes. Where'd you pick this up at? That's something that you hear a lot?
No, like you ever see the commercials about the truth? The little truth thingy.
Oh,
About
okay.
all those commercials about and stuff.
Oh, okay.
They're
That's where you
actually
see
saying
that.
that the teen rate of smoking is actually dropping and stuff. Like they're saying the state of Florida is down to like 7% and stuff, and that they're trying to like, keep the fight strong and stuff. They're trying to say that the average in America altogether it's all the way down to 42%, and back in 2006 it was all the way up to 73.
My man of stats, okay? Yeah. Now, back to you over here. You was talking about these... You don't believe in change, you saying?
I don't.
Is that what you were saying?
No, I
You said
believe-
new me, new year.
I believe people can change. It's just some people don't put in much effort to. They might say they want to, but not. Like Michael said, they might change their mind. They might say they're going to change, but then they just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the New Year's resolution. Like
Okay.
they'll say just because like it's in the now in the
Mhm.
beginning of the New Year's, like everyone's happy and stuff, it's the holidays. And then like once it gets back to the normal routine,
Fall back.
it's just like, oh, I don't know, I'm tired of going to the gym, or you know.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I think because I was going to ask you, are you saying then they shouldn't change? But I was like what Jill was saying. It sounded like you were saying that there's if you change, you may try to change, but people's always going to view you as the way you were. What you're saying is that people say they're going to change, but they don't. I assume that's what you're saying.
Yeah, like my dad will say he quit drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll quit drinking for a few weeks, and then he'll start drinking again.
Right.
And then I'll hear people say, "I'm gonna quit smoking." A couple weeks later, they smoking.
You getting down pretty hard on your dad, then.
Again, I think it's that. And there's three things. There's responsibility and accountability. There's will, and then there's addiction. Meaning, whatever you do falls into one of those three categories at the point that you say you're going to do something. If you don't have the will to do it, you're not going to do it. If you're addicted, then you could be sick and you can't help yourself. The other side is accountability. If you have a certain amount of accountability, responsibility, you don't do things because you're accountable to others. You see what I mean? So a lot of times, and I say that for a couple of reasons. One is Big Mike there, he said, people say they want to stop smoking. And all of a sudden he looked my way and he said, lose weight. I don't know what you was trying to say. Because that was my New Year's resolution for the 17th time. And so I started thinking about it. So young brother's challenging me. I think, like Dawood said, he wants to youth. We want to hear what you got to say. Just like us talking, me and the other side of Mike Check, we disagree.
Right.
We both men. We both feel we are right. But what we have to agree is that there is a truth. At the point you find that truth, you have to be man enough to accept it. Same thing with you youth. You guys are going to be here. You're going to be talking. Brother Wu got you here because we do want to hear you. Don't mean you're right.
And that's the key to any debate. When you're having a debate on a topic, the way to win a debate is to figure out what's right, not who.
Yes.
And I think they're on to something, because what you were saying was absolutely true about change, and it's insightful. What I think they're trying to get across is, if somebody actually wants to change who they are, you're not going to wait until the first of the year to do it. And the process is so diluted because everybody is, just like he said, new year, new me. New year, new me. The process is so diluted that if somebody's actually sincere, it's like the little boy that cried wolf, because there's 200 million people, new year, new me. 87,000 people actually putting forth the effort to make changes. And how many versions of yourself do you need to be happy? It's a new year, new me. You're 38. You're on your 31st new you. How many different versions?
Let's take this call real quick. Hold that thought. Let's take this call. Yes, sir.
You on the speaker?
Welcome to the Mic Check and the Uncle Wu Show and Miss Jill and the youth. What can I help you with?
We can't hear them. They on the thing.
Okay, well if you don't want to expose it, I won't expose it. If you got a question, he said he just wanted to say hi. This is Mr. Jenkins. He was on one of the first shows of the Mic Check. Said he just wanted to say hi. He likes what we're doing, and keep it up.
What's up, big bro?
You hear that, Mr. Jenkins?
I'm fired, y'all two youth.
Yeah, I saw you. Give me a call later, too, buddy.
All right.
Now I put you on speakerphone. It's time to go.
Well, hey,
Mr. Jenkins.
I don't want everybody to have to say anything they don't want to say too soon. You ever heard "Don't hit send"?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I forgot Uncle Wu has no filter.
How'd you filter? Ain't no filter on this one.
But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if you finished
I pretty
that
much
point.
got my point across.
Looked like Jill wanted to jump in on that when you were talking.
Well, I was just, I kind of did in a weird way because that kind of brought up, not to bring up the whole Steubenville situation again, but it is part of something that changed my life. So I will every once in a while chime in with stuff. But it's so crazy to me to know that, like, it seems nowadays, if you have an opinion that differs from somebody else, people don't respect it a lot of times. And you're really, really ridiculed or jumped on over it. And to me, that's sad. Like, I don't know what this world's becoming, but for some reason, it seems like a lot of people can't have debates like this. This is very healthy, but a lot of people can't do this. Right. Because if you have an opinion that's different, then you're, you're done for or whatever. So, and I experienced that personally when I had a different opinion, as well as we all did, but it's just crazy. So I'm glad that the youth are able to debate and be able to talk. I think it's really a good thing, and I think more youth should be involved with something like that.
That was actually one of the things that we discussed on the first Mic Check, when about people always want to know your opinion until it's different from theirs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, then it ceases to be an opinion, and it becomes to be the subject of an argument.
Right.
Or into a fight.
As long as we're in agreement, you can give any opinion you want.
Right.
As soon as we disagree,
then the respect's gone, and it's crazy.
Well, that's because very few people are just being honest or being real. Not only that, most people have an agenda.
Exactly.
So if you're trying to get something across, you're not interested in the facts. What you're interested in is anything that can help you prove what you want to prove. Yeah. And you can always tell that. Yep. So again, that's when I asked him what he was talking about, I wanted to make sure he was clear in what he was, and that I was clear in hearing, because there's a different answer to the things he said. Right. And so to me, when you talked about the sequel, you said about law of attraction. Yeah. What I was trying to ask is that a lot of times we say we're going to do something. What I need to know is what are we trying to get to, in order to know if it's successful. Right. Because what I have heard that seeks, ultimately, most of us are seeking peace.
Yeah, it's the better you. Of course. It's the better you. It's about yourself, and then what you give out, you're going to get back. But if everybody could go by that law, the world would be so much better. But unfortunately, like you said, people have personal agendas, and that's another thing that I'm going to speak upon when I have time, is the difference between protest and movement. I am all for movements, for the betterment of equality and for humanity, but I am totally against protest, because usually protests are people that have axes to grind personally. But if movement is making change, a movement is making something better. Martin Luther King, that was a movement. The crazy stuff in Steubenville, that was a protest. So there's a huge difference in your intention. Yes. And your intention can manifest to what it is. And so I want to kind of make people aware of that, because I never knew it. I was really asleep on everything for a long time, and I just woke up. So I'm really glad that I did, and I want to be able to have my journey with other people and hopefully help other people in theirs. So
we better be careful. We might find out that when people say that there's always something good that comes out of everything.
There is.
if there's a purpose and if you have that will, and why I say watch out is some people, in church folks' mouths, they talk about you're either going into a storm or coming out of one. But if you're coming out of one, you're going to go into another one. And so a lot of times it's bad things that we learn from.
Well, yeah.
Because if everything is good, we just do whatever we want to do and we just keep going. We don't see nothing. But as soon as something happens, kind of like the Ferguson.
Wakes you up.
Ferguson,
It's a wake up.
It wakes us up to know the things that goes on. Then New York happens. It wakes us up to know what's going on. But there's so many people out there saying, that happened to me. That happened. That didn't happen to me. That happened. Well, this been going on forever. This been going on for, those are the type of things. And then all of a sudden we had some officers get killed. And now all of a sudden, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And all we're saying is, or at least like you said, all the media is telling us is that certain lives are more important than others, which was the original discussion when it happened in Ferguson. The problem wasn't really the problem in Ferguson, as in most of these situations. The problem really, and again, I'm saying there's some people who have a problem with everything, but the real the unjust and what we needed a movement for was not because the young man either fought the cop or not fought the cop. The problem was he was dead and there was no justice. There was no attempt for justice. There was no court. There was no investigation. There wasn't the things that's supposed to happen. Meaning there's supposed to be a trial.
I agree completely with that. I do.
That's the problem. So,
I agree with that.
So us trying to figure out, well, no, he didn't turn around. No, he didn't come after him. Well, no, he didn't fear for his life. Any of that could be right or wrong. That's what you got court for. That's what you got witnesses
Judicial
for.
systems
That's
for
what
that.
you got a judge for.
And this is probably why I'm a woke.
And so then you'll get people, and let me just go on this a little bit longer here. Then you'll get people on Facebook that will say, oh, there was a black guy, there was cops that just killed somebody white. There was black cops that just killed somebody white. But what they don't tell you is those cops are on trial and get ready to go to prison.
I can't believe that we're in 2015 and we are still worried about the color of somebody's skin. And we are in 2015 and we are still worried about someone's skin color in this country. That to me is crazy. Like, I can't even believe it. And as far as the Ferguson thing goes, I believe that there was a lot of injustice there. I also believe there was injustice, though, with the looting and the things that happened with the protesters who had their own agendas. They weren't really standing up for a movement, because a movement's positive.
Well, you can have a bad movement too. You gotta look at that, because a movement is just something that's in motion, really. So you can put a positive and a negative to wherever that level you're going, because you can get. The adjective that goes in front of it can dictate the outcome. Like the laws of attraction. You got a movement moving towards that to the left.
Oh yeah, you can have a negative movement, right? Exactly.
Right. So
you are what you seek.
Right. And now I gotta say, you gotta be careful on saying the protesters, because it wasn't all protesters who was actually doing the looting. It was folks that came inside and infiltrated the protest. Now there was a difference, because the people who stood up to protest against what they knew in their own heart was right and wrong with the system did that, stood up. Now then, when you get opportunists who see the opportunity, that's what comes in.
You're right.
Yeah, not the
opportunity. You're right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right on that. I should correct myself. But that's what I mean. People that take a situation and use their own agenda to take advantage of things. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the people that were truly standing up.
Right.
The people that were truly standing up for something good, in my mind, was a movement. You know what I mean? But the other people, to me, that were, catching businesses on fire and stealing and all that, that was for their own personal agenda. And I feel like the stuff that happened in Steubenville was really similar, although it wasn't so bad. But I feel like what they did, it was bad, but it wasn't
just as bad.
Yeah, it was awful. It was.
People got killed. Lives got killed.
Yeah.
Like youth, people's youths got stolen from them.
Yeah, it did.
People's characters got killed.
Yeah.
People's characters got assassinated. People's opinions got murdered.
Yeah.
All kind of unjust things was going on. So
and there was no justice for that either. None. There was no justice for that, and I will say that. And that alone was wrong. So, that's a whole different topic. But
I said, where y'all at with that?
Well, I'm just saying, as even in any case, I think we were trying to stay general,
Okay.
With laws of attraction, things of that nature, like when you just said about opportunists, you know, you're right. You got down to the nitty gritty. I think when Jill said it, I took it as more of a generalization. Let's figure out how we figure out what's what. And when she said movement, I think what she was trying to say is movements are things that somebody like Martin Luther King was doing for the reasons he was doing it. Whereas protest is different because the Ku Klux Klan can have a movement, but no, it's not a movement.
Right.
So like you said, depends on what verb you put in front of it. Let's just say if you protested, you ain't moving. You're not doing something that's positive.
To move it, yeah. You're just doing it for your own attention.
The spirit of the cause. You know what I mean? Some movements are geared towards healing and help,
right?
And others are geared towards revenge and punishment.
Personal agenda.
Those are protests.
That's that's exactly how I feel.
I mean, it's I'm kind of still swaying on the level of that, because a protest can be protests don't move mostly. They just protest. They protest what it is. Moving is actually is in motion.
Yeah, that's how. That's why
it doesn't move.
Well, anybody who stand outside your establishment is protesting, holding up signs. I'm tired of this. No justice, no peace. Standing still. Protest.
But they're not doing anything to make it better.
Right, ain't that moving?
Right.
But what are you protesting for? Like,
it don't matter what they're protesting for.
Well, that's what.
No, I'm just talking about
saying. That's what dictates what it is.
Yeah, no, I thought he was saying about the movement itself. He wasn't. I don't think he excluded protest.
What I said was the spirit of it will dictate what it is.
Right.
Of your intention.
If usually a movement is affiliated with help and healing.
Good.
And a protest is affiliated with
hurt,
revenge, and punishment.
Well, okay, I still disagree with revenge. All protesters is of that nature.
I didn't say that.
There are peaceful protests.
Right. Okay, I want to make sure I got that understood. This ain't because the way you're generalizing it to me. That's how I'm saying. How I'm taking it is that y'all putting it in a box, and the protest is boom.
Reason I want to put it in a box is I'm trying to label people. We can. That's what happened down Ferguson. Nobody can just say what it is because the protesters did this. And so you said not all the protesters. They weren't all doing that. When somebody says, well, there's a movement down in Ferguson, and then somebody says, you mean looting is a movement? So it's like.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. I mean, it depends on the mindset. Yeah.
If you say for protest, anything can happen in a protest.
So if I look up movement, that's what I'll find.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. That's what you feel.
No, I have no idea.
I think
whatever dictionary says.
Huh? Movement. If I look up movement, I'm gonna find positive. That's what it's gonna be. That's my point. That's my question.
I don't know. Maybe moving forward.
If I look at movement,
one of them, yes. Well, I don't think there'll be anything negative about movement when you look up movement.
It depends on if you're using the verb or the noun.
Exactly. And there'll be nothing negative about a movement.
There's never. Yeah, of course it is.
But when you hear protest means anything could be going on. There could be bottles being thrown. There could be let me ask you this: when Spike Lee,
a movement you can do that though. In a movement you can have that.
You can do what you want to in a protest and a movement. What I'm saying is
movements usually are for peace.
And what I think we want to try to.
I think we're getting really sidetracked. I'm gonna say what I'm trying to do with what I'm saying, and then if somebody doesn't want that done, then we can.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do by separating the two words is bring clarity, transparency to topics so that it can be easily discussed, so that you can so we can separate one from the other and understand.
So let me ask you this question then. Under what you're saying, let's test it. Do you think the people in Ferguson that decided to get a movement going was right in trying to get a movement going?
Absolutely.
Do you think the people that was protesting in down in Missouri was doing the right things by protesting?
No.
Because you think the people protesting was doing what?
I think they were. Those were the people that I would call agitators, looters, and
that's after the fact.
And their purpose is revenge and punishment. The people that were in control of the movement, those people were towards healing.
Yep.
They want justice for this man's family. They want things like this to stop so it doesn't happen to another family. So when I'm saying that, I'm not trying to create definition. What I'm trying to do is create separation and categorize things. And if somebody wants to use another word,
that's fine.
Instead of
in
the ones I'm using,
in
that's fine
Dawood's
too.
defense, I know what he was saying. What I was just, we're saying this after the fact. If Brother Dawood would have said before this happened, if somebody did this, I think we need to protest about this. People say, yeah, you're right. But in our minds, what we're trying to do is a movement towards getting something to be stopped so that people aren't hurt.
Right.
But if us three decide to do that and we go down to protest and it ends up being fights and gunshots and all that, and people say, well, Dawood started that protest, he would say, well, that's not what I was, then he would start explaining himself, and he would start to explain a movement. You see what I mean? So that's all I was trying to figure out. I thought that when you said that, it just clicked in my head that, yeah, that's basically what ends up happening. Because anytime somebody says a movement, that's usually after the fact and it's been successful. Because the civil rights was a movement. Civil rights was a movement after it was successful. While it was going on, it was rebel rousers, protesters, all kind of things.
Like a riot.
You said after the fact?
Yeah, meaning what I'm trying to say is that what you just said was a movement can be a protest and a protest can be a movement. And I understand exactly what you're saying because that's how we all take it. But when somebody explains your protest that people were looting and shooting, was that your protest?
Of course it wasn't. So the whole thing is, you can't. Once again, you can't put a protest in a box like that to say. I mean, that's just me because to say that the protesters did the looting would not be an accurate statement for me. I'm saying it wouldn't be because
every protesters weren't doing it.
Exactly. Some people was protesting.
They're just using it.
They was protesting and the sincerity of their heart, their mind, and their spirit. Some of them real protesters came to do just that. Protest against those things that was done wrong. And all of them was not there to say a wrong was done, so here comes my wrong. Some of them say I'm protesting against what was done wrong.
But they're all protesters. They're all protesters.
So your goal
I'm asking you, are they all protesters?
No. Yeah, well, of course they could be all. No. Looters are looters to me. Protesters are protesters.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's how.
All I'm saying is that
because a looter just coming to get his game.
What you just said was what we were trying to do. We was trying to define what was going on, because what happens is that the
only reason I had a problem with the way y'all was defining was that it seemed like you was putting them in one box, and that was, to me, you said the protesters are after. It seemed like you're evil. Protest was
That's not what I said.
Something of that nature. Perry, what you say it was?
What I said is you could tell the difference in a movement or a protest by the spirit under which of the approach. That a movement.
That's the key right there, though. But what you just said goes in both directions. The spirit of the protest don't have to be bad.
Yeah, but it's always a movement.
Well, tell me what the goal is.
Hold on, I just want to touch on that first.
Okay. In order to know if it's good or bad, then you have to know the goal. What's the goal?
Exactly. Okay, so there you go. You're right. Okay, good. That's good enough. Okay, there it is. And in a nutshell, now that takes it back outside the box because of the fact if a person did define his goals, what he's protesting for, that's what he was. And if it was something good, and that was his ultimate goal, is to get good out of this protest of standing up for what it was that they felt was wrong. No ill intention. Ain't coming in for nothing other than that. That's what they was.
And I was just saying that what you just said, she calls that a movement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now
what I was saying is that it clicked to me because there's never been anything that somebody called negative a movement.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends how you look at it.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I never just heard it.
Okay. Yeah, of course. I mean, in their mind, it's a movement. Okay. A movement is something. Look at the word movement. Mm-hmm. I'm saying
it sounds like.
Movement.
Everybody's in agreement that there's two different things going on, but it seems like what Dawood is, he wants to protect the word protest.
Right.
And let's find another word
because the fact to make it negative is bad to me. Right. To me, because of the people who come with that good intention of the word. Look up the word protest, and you ain't gonna get all of these negative connotations to it. It's by the way we look at it, perceive it, and then we receive it, and that's what it is. It becomes a reality in our mind.
Right.
That's what it is. Now back to you about the movement can't be bad. Man, anytime if you get a gang of people, I was a part of a bad movement. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say I wasn't. But I know our movement that I was a part of at one time was all bad. And it was a movement. We was in motion towards something.
And so when you...
To us, it was considered bad, and we knew it was bad.
And so when somebody would define...
It wasn't no protest.
That's fine. And when somebody would define that your movement was bad, how would they know that? Was it by...
You can sit back and watch it. Yeah, the action's going to show it. Yeah.
That's fine.
It's not a protest for me to go out and fling dope gangbang. You know, that's not no protest.
Okay, but I
don't
know who calls that a movement. But I don't know who calls that a movement.
They do. It is. It's an emotion.
Yes.
That's a movement.
Yes. Good deal.
That's a movement.
You taught me something.
I'm serious. That's a movement.
You was learning. Like I said, you taught me something.
If you look at the language of it, movement.
Wait a minute.
It can go both ways.
So where are we now? Did we change the word? The argument is now that the word protest represents anything bad?
No, it sounded like that's what it was coming out of.
No.
Yes.
Well, what I was trying to
I don't think somebody would say.
No. When Jill first said it, she stated it was.
Somebody came in and held up.
I can't think of protest.
That's all. She just said. She said she doesn't think it is, and that's good. That's her opinion.
And held up the clerk at Hampton Inn, shot her and killed her. And that was a protest. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's what we were saying.
No, that's not what I meant.
I didn't say she's meant that. No. I never said she meant that. I'm just talking about.
It sounds like we we transferred the argument over into both words now represent everything that's being done anywhere is either a movement or a protest. Like you said, that a movement that people moving around, selling drugs and using drugs and all that. That's now a movement. So anytime that anything is in motion, it's a movement. It
is. Period. Ain't no in between.
Right.
You cannot stand in between that there and say I'm straddling this here. It's either a bad movement or a good movement, and there is no just one way for that. And to be thinking like that is a narrow thought.
It is a narrow thought, and that's the purpose of what I was saying.
Okay, well,
let me just say this, and I tried to articulate that. Let me try to articulate a different way.
Go ahead. Because put it that way, I can't.
Okay, I understand. When I took what she had said, when she made the reference, it was trying to disseminate that when you look at what went on in Ferguson, there's a lot of people who say there was good, and there's a lot of people who say there was bad. But most of the time, when it's a sound bite, they don't get to articulate what you said. Every protester wasn't looting. Every protester wasn't there to do good. You're right. Duh. What I was trying to say is that after the fact, after something's happened, to describe what it was, most times you know if it was a movement, it was positive. If it was just protesting, it could be anything. Let's put it that way. I'm not saying all protests.
Okay, well,
what I'm saying is after the fact. A lot of times, if there was bottle throwing, looting going on, they would still describe that as a protest. Even if there was some good, they could still describe it as a protest. But it's never normally used if there was some shooting or some Molotov cocktails or there was looting. Well, there was this movement that went on down in Ferguson. It was a real movement. That's not the word they use.
But you protest. Right, you said they use, but just because they use it, don't make it right.
I understand that, but at the point
because we're dealing with a bastard language for one, right?
Yes.
The English language is a bastard language. Flip it, twist it, ain't got no origin. It comes from French. You got French. You got
Latin.
All the different. It's a bastard language, period. So just to try to put it as to what they say, and then you can come back and look at the dictionary of it and break it down. I'm just saying, just in the simplest terms, that's how I see it. Now, yes, I do say that movements go either way because that's what it is. I mean, they might not describe it as that. And just like they call it protest. They don't call it. This is the first time I ever heard people put protest in the bad spirit. First time. I have. I'm saying because even the word protest, even our youth out in the streets right now, that's what they do.
Let me give you an example.
It depends on
you remember Little Rock, Arkansas?
I was just about to say.
Remember Little Rock?
I remember that.
Do you remember that protest?
Yeah.
Was that positive?
No, Little Rock 9, yeah.
Considered
The protest was don't let those niggers in the school.
No, I'm talking about their protest.
No, they
were just trying to go to school.
Right. Just people trying to go to
No, I'm talking about after that.
The protesters were out there.
Okay, that
with
was-
signs saying.
Okay, you talking about that? Right.
Well, I was just saying, just trying to refresh your memory of, had you ever heard the word protest in a negative light? In a negative light.
Yeah, because to them that was a peaceful protest.
What was?
To them that was a peaceful.
To the white folks.
To the white folks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true,
Like-
true.
like-
But I'm saying I never seen it in that light like
So
that.
you didn't see that?
No, I did. I'm saying I still didn't put it in that light. But you're right, it is. It can be that way. I'm saying, but for the majority of the people who come out with a protest, it's not seen in that light. I'm
This
saying
is
for
what
the
I'm
most.
saying. And
If you look at the
we're
majority,
getting way kind of outside of. I feel we're getting kind of way outside of what we're talking about here. We ain't talking about. We're talking about issues where people have an opinion for or against tragedy. You know what I mean? And
Huh? What you mean? Huh?
like
Yeah,
Ferguson,
Yeah.
like New York,
Okay.
like Steubenville, like Little Rock. These are situations where masses of people come to have opinions to stand up for or against.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, when we're saying movement and protest, we're not trying to put that into somebody going from first base to second base. You know what I mean? Which is also movement. But we don't want, you know what I mean? Like we're losing the point and diluting it down to
Well, that's
everything.
That's a
Can I
matter
say
of
something real
that's a
quick?
matter of opinion, though. To think of that.
When I say a movement, I feel like a movement as far as if you're part of a movement, your mentality is to do something better, is to help, is to and maybe some protesters are too, but maybe I just have a personal bad experience
That's
with
right,
protesters, so I'm using it as a personal example. So this is
I know
my
what you mean by
personal
that, yeah.
reality. So this is my reality. It doesn't have to be everybody else's, but this is what I've experienced. I've experienced bad protesters. I've experienced being stalked by them. I've experienced horrible things with it.
No.
So,
Right.
not if you're in a protest opposed, in my mind, opposed to a movement. A protest sometimes they have an ill agenda where they have an axe to grind, and it's personal, like a personal agenda for their own self. But not all of them. Not everybody. Not everybody. I'm saying you have to be careful with that, though. Because people can use that. Anybody can use protesting to hurt other people, and that's scary. And I feel like that happened in Ferguson too.
Let me give y'all an example then. I don't know if you ever heard of the Deacons of the Fence.
Yes.
The Deacons of the Fence is when no, down south.
Yeah, that's right.
Real story about the Deacons.
Yeah.
Their movement was to protect what they was about,
Correct.
but it had to get ugly.
Okay.
They protested, but their protest was not. Their protest was they got tired of being done in wrong. Deacons in the church, they formed a movement to stop what was coming upon them.
Right.
But their initial start was they was protesting to stop what was going on. But at the same time, it was still a movement to say that we tired. The movement came physical when they went and got their guns and they started doing what was done to them.
Right.
A bunch of deacons in the church. So is that considered a bad thing for them?
And and again, my point was, and I'll try to make it again, is that
You said after the fact, right?
after the fact.
Okay, now let me say that.
So,
you know what? Because we've been.
my point is, do you consider, you know the facts of that? You just told me a little bit of it.
Go ahead.
Do you consider it a movement or a protest? When you look at it after the fact, you look back what they did.
Well,
what they were doing.
you know what?
Do you consider them doing a movement, or do you consider what they did?
It's a very thin line to me.
That's
It's
fine.
a very thin line.
If
Now,
there's
here's
no
my-
right or wrong answer. I just wanted to know if you had to tell somebody
about that.
you're describing, you would say, "Hey,
They protested.
these deacons,
They protested.
That's fine."
I
I just think that normally, if it was successful,
That's a movement.
people would call it that it was a movement. And I'm not saying.
I mean,
that,
no. I'm not saying you're wrong. People will say that, but I'm just saying at the
I
same
agree with you. I don't think
time.
any of us. You know, we all know a march is considered a protest.
So that's my point. So you think all marches are
NAACP? They don't say let's get together and have a protest. You know what they say? Let's get together and have a march.
Well, you know what?
You could dissect that a march is a protest. The point is, it's supposed to be considered a more positive and constructive and an organized thing. That's why they decided to call it a march and don't just say protest.
Right.
Because
The language is very
can be
important.
anything. Go ahead.
What about the Million Man March? Would that be considered a movement or a protest?
I would consider it a movement. But if let me tell you something, if it had ended up with guns and police shooting, and
That's a protest.
people don't, they said there was a protest out on the mall. Now I'm not saying I don't know that they would have. That's my opinion. That's what it would have been described as.
Well,
So
I guess I can agree to disagree on this one, but the only thing I can say about that, what you said about the after effect, is that that's the problem with most of us anyway. We're too reactionaries. We need to, and you were talking about movement on, it's not always after effect. It shouldn't be. Movements start before, too. You actually sit down when, that's what think tanks come in at. Think tanks come in for a purpose of creating a movement.
and you're exactly right. Except
With that-
the only thing I'm saying is that whatever the commentary is after something happens, it really dictates the future. It can be that can be considered positive or that can be considered negative. Even if it's positive, people can twist it the way they want by the words they
There
use.
you go.
And so my point is, what I was trying to do is, if we're going to articulate it and talk about it, if we want to need to know, there's no. It's almost like when people say, "Oh, well, you know, all black people aren't lazy." Duh. You know what I mean? Like, we know that. So when you say every protest isn't bad, we understand that. But the stereotype is black people's lazy. So if you have to give an excuse every time you say something, it clouds what you're trying to say. So what I'm thinking is, the movement that happened down in Ferguson was needed. The protesting wasn't. The reason the protesting wasn't was because the protesting ended up going into looting. The movement is that they're trying to change the laws. They got some committees together down there, and there's some new legislation on the floor in the Missouri House to get the way they police changed. And people that was doing that would say they have a movement going on.
Okay, now that's one side.
So that's one after the fact. Now,
That's one side. That's one side, because you can get somebody in the criminal mind.
right.
And now, if he come up and stood up until you said our thing was a movement, how can you qualify your statement as wrong?
I can. He said it was a
okay.
movement. He said it was a
okay,
movement.
there we go.
I take him for what he says.
All right.
Now, when I decide to say what happened, looked like some rioting was going on out there. Is what it was. Some protesting and rioting and
Right.
this and going on. And now, if I am, what's his name? What's the guy on CNN with the gray hair?
Anderson Cooper.
If I'm Anderson Cooper and I say that it was a riot, what do you think went on down in Ferguson? The one guy told you it was a movement. What do you think America thinks?
Whatever the news tells them.
Exactly.
That's what it is. And that's what we sometimes get caught up in.
So what we need to do
But we do that. We pick up on that.
And so what we need to do is, if we want it to be successful and if we want America to accept it, we need to call it a movement. Or a march.
I agree.
Or a committee. Or a law.
The act of changing physical location or position or having this change. Word, motion, move. That's movement. Motion, move. I mean,
The act
the
of change.
activity of real active change, but hate to say it, but
So what's
hold up. Huh?
Hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
It could be.
Yeah.
Thank you. But the only reason I say that because to you, this person's movement, you said change for good, and I hate to use this analogy, but it's true. But somebody else who went in there and looted, to them, it was a movement for the good if they got some paper out of it.
Right.
I'm just saying it was their good.
And I don't debate that somebody could say that was a movement.
Right,
I just
so
don't think-
you're on the other
I
side
don't
and
think
say
the
that.
media would.
Of course,
and I don't think I
but
would.
who's the media?
Well, the media dictates what we think.
There's no way that somebody going and stealing stuff could feel good about that. I'm sorry. I gotta disagree with that.
You can't tell what a person will think.
Yeah, but deep down in their soul, they know that that's wrong. They know it is.
No, I don't believe it. I think.
Oh man,
I don't know.
that
People might do
sucks.
'cause
I don't
they-
know.
How do we summarize this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, like, what's the goal here?
Well, we went past the goal. The goal was simply to try to define what went on in Ferguson in a manner that we could, that we wouldn't have to keep saying. Because what I'd like to say is it was a good thing. I was just saying what happened down there. That's what I thought. But there's some people who the whole legacy of that was the looting that went on.
Right.
So what I'd like to tell people is, well, I'm not talking about the protests. I'm talking about the movement that happened out of that.
Yeah, that's exactly
That was what I was trying to do, and they may not be able to do it.
Yeah,
Like you said, there's too much.
Well, and media puts stuff out there that's
Yeah.
they
The
only
media looks at the bad
for the
stuff, not
bad.
the good
Exactly.
And that's what they do.
They do. That's exactly what they do. They've always done
That
that.
was just like that even.
And when they do that, they
Yeah.
don't use good
Not
words.
true.
They use certain words that makes people think also but that's bad. And what I'm trying to say is protest has changed to me
Okay.
in some respect, because protest has been a word that you just use when you say, hey, we're not going to stand for this no more, let's protest. And if it doesn't,
And that's
go
not
right-
always bad.
No, I'm not saying it's
Okay.
bad. What I'm saying is,
no, we got to
depending
understand
on the outcome.
That's what my goal was. Now, you asked what
Then
my
you're
goal
right.
outcome was.
Then you're right.
I didn't want us to be in a box thinking. For me, I don't sit in the box type thinking, and I just don't accept it. You don't throw it at me and tell me it's just like this, and that's how it is. Especially if you're coming from a media standpoint, I got an opinion too on it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and if I can validate and back it up, prove it wrong.
True.
Prove it wrong. If you prove it wrong, I stay down on it. Maybe.
I agree. So the summarization, to sum it all up, Uncle Wu's right.
Nah, I ain't trying to be right. I'm just trying to get my point across. That's all. Just like you.
Well, I said, I don't think
It was a good. I mean, to me, it was a good discussion, though, right? And to me, it's the way y'all project it or perceive. And see, I'm just the type of guy who don't like to put too much negative into anything. That's just me. And I ain't trying to be all good. Uncle Wu he's a bad mother. Shut your mouth at times. But I'm just saying, I don't like to project things so much. I don't give it negative thought. To me, if a protest, you know what, and we don't look at it like this, but the majority of our youth right now is protesting. They acting out as a protest. Why? They don't feel they're getting fair treatment. A lot of them don't feel they're getting fair treatment if it's at home. Some of them say, I got to do everything. I ain't got a life. And that's their protest. They say that. I don't got a life. I got to do everything. Mom got 3 jobs. I got siblings I got to take care of, bills, blah, blah, skipping. It's a protest some of them have about that. And it's real. So that's not a negative thing to me. I know y'all ain't saying all of them is negative. I'm just saying, to me, that is not a movement. That's a protest. And we don't even look at their acting out as a protest. We look at it as acting up. And really they just calling out for real. That's what they're doing. It's a call out.
So basically, as I summarize,
Go.
it sounds like what we're getting to is we need to get rid of the word movement as far as opposition goes altogether, because we already said that movement means everything. You know what I mean? Everything is a movement.
No, I never said. Well, no. I said it's either going to be a good or a bad. It can go both ways. That don't mean everything.
Like,
where'd you get that from?
Like, because you wouldn't define it as
I never said everything.
as motion.
Okay.
So what I mean, I don't mean everything as in an apple. I mean all movement, all motion is movement.
Right. It's going to be the bad or good. That's my point.
Well, it don't have to be either. It could be pointless motion. It don't have to be. This ain't good or bad, but it's movement.
That is not this. I'm talking about dancing.
That was bad.
So you're dancing. No. And what you just did was good. You did some good for the heart. Somewhere along the line. That's movement.
Okay.
That's me.
So everything.
So when the wind blows and the tree branches move, that's either good or bad. Because what I'm saying is,
could be depending on who's standing there. But I'm just saying this to say it's a good.
Movement is so general.
It is. I mean, where do you put it? It's a movement, isn't it?
That it's hard to really. Why would we use it for something specific?
You could if you want.
Yeah, we could do anything we want.
Okay, so that's my point. So here, let me put in a nutshell on my point. The way you you talking about laws of attraction, the way you look at a thing is where you gonna get it out of it. If you're thinking of movement, and if it's all you see of it is a positive, hopefully you'll get positive out of it. But if you see a movement and it is negative, which there are movements that are negative, I don't know where y'all can get that. There's no such thing, because there's always a good and bad whenever you're going through it. Like I said, there's no in between. You're either going to be good or you're going to be bad. You ain't just be sometime. I mean, I don't mean you sometime, but you're not going to be, I'm an in-between type of guy.
I don't think nobody was saying that either.
No, that's my point. I never said you did. If I did, I would have said you said.
Nobody said.
Okay, no, I know it. I'm saying if I thought you did, I said you. I would have pointed. I'm just making a point by using that there. That's my way of making my point in that statement. Never point nobody out. I just say I think you said this and that, but I'm just saying there is no. That's what I mean by the movement. It's going to be either one way or the other to me.
Right.
And just like if you look at a protest and that's all you look at it as is bad, there's nothing you're gonna do about it. I mean, as far as enjoining upon it, because like I said, if I was in an area where they was protesting, and if I can do something positive out of it, I would have. If it was just some people protest holding up a sign, that's not a movement, really.
That's how I feel. Right.
Okay. All right.
Let's end on what's good in the hood. Somebody got something good in the hood.
Go ahead, since you started it.
Oh no, I figured somebody. What's good in the hood, young man? What's good in the hood, Michael?
Madden.
Madden? What, you got a Madden for Christmas?
Yes.
That's what he do.
Madden. I'll be holding Madden tournaments at my crib.
You asked him.
Yeah. No. I know what I'm thinking is I'm thinking about memory lane. That used to be my answer. There was a time when that was my answer. When I was whooping everybody in Madden.
Yeah, it's an all new.
Unless you're not watching, you know what I mean. So
Anyway, to the conclusion of today's topic, I just want to thank all y'all for coming out. Thank all y'all who's watching. Look for more discussions and topics and views. And feel free to call in on issues and views. You might get your head chopped off. Then you might not. I know from the looks of things today, you might think you get your head chopped off to say something. But don't be scared. Just chopping off at the choppers. Yeah. But just feel free to call in. Like I said, they'll give up numbers on the day of this show. It's going to be a rotation on the Thursdays, and the mic check will be on Wednesdays, 9 o'clock. And the rest of them will be at Thursdays at 7:30 as we started today. I think we did. 7:30, yes. Yes. So, catch the mic check coming up. And, well, you might catch one half of the mic check, but you should get a mic check. But let's tune in. It's always a good time with them. As you can see, they don't give Uncle Woo. They even spank at Uncle Woo, which is all good. I ain't mad at nobody. I can take it. I ain't got no thin skin. You understanding me? So throw it. I conclude. Pittsburgh Steelers glasses.
we out.
And I'm out. Anybody got anything else to do before they gotta go?
That's it.
I say mine's for the mic check.
I got
He'll
one
probably
thing
be
to
calling
say.
in.
The Steelers suck.
Well, that's our
You said I'd probably be calling in.
That's the youth.
I don't think any NFL professional team could suck. I mean, they're professionals. No team can actually suck.
Well, Steelers ain't doing good this year, to me.
Yeah,
But that's my
I'm not going to go back and forth with this guy.
yeah, he's one of those
Young
guys.
whippersnapper.
Like that man said, they're all professionals. So your team is winning, they're beating good teams. This is somebody who's worried about somebody else's
He just
team.
trying to gear up my jet. That's all he want to get.
He's one of them guys that's worried about
Sounds like
somebody
he ain't the
else's
only
team.
one.
You noticed that, huh?
I wanted him to explain that he might be calling in. I don't know what it was. You said it?
What did I say?
When I said for the mic check, you said he might not.
Oh yeah, I was talking about Mike Jet. Yeah, I was talking about it.
Jill, good seeing you.
Oh, you too.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm trying to steal my coat.